Food prices seem to be going up like a rocket ship in Canada. And today we're going to do a deep dive into what's going on, what's coming ahead in the months in the future, and then also what, if anything, the government should be doing about the situation. Dr. Sylvain Charlebois joins me today to talk about this. He's known as the food processor. He's an expert in following the food industry from Dalhousie University. Dr. Charlebois, thanks for taking a few minutes to chat today.
My pleasure.
So no pressure, but Canadians are very frustrated about what's happening, and we're turning to you for all the answers today. Let's start big picture, looking at what's happened in the past couple of years. Could you tell us any sort of statistics about what's happened with food prices?
Well, I mean, the list of things that didn't happen is actually much shorter. There are lots of things that have happened. Obviously, the Black Swan event, which is COVID, really made things much more difficult for us to predict. Inflation really wasn't an issue as much as it is now. That's due to the fact that over the last few years, many factors have compounded and have made actually things much more difficult to cope with for many food industry culprits, from farm gate to plate. So that was the one major event, COVID. Um, Secondly, the Ukrainian invasion, while supply chains were still recovering, was really ill-timed for everyone on Earth.
Mhm.
Ukraine feeds 400 people on the planet with its agriculture. It's no longer the case, but at the time of the invasion, Ukraine really didn't matter, and of course the invasion really brought a lot of uncertainty everywhere on the planet. So that's why everyone was affected by what happened, including Canada. Even though a lot of people think, well, we grow a lot of grains here in Canada, why are we affected? That's the reason why, because global markets are global markets. So there's
Mhm.
been a series of major events that have actually made things much more difficult for everyone.
So we had COVID that threw a wrench into supply chains. We had the war in Ukraine. We've also seen the federal carbon tax, not only the introduction of it, but it keeps going up and up and up. We've also seen a crunch in terms of labor, um, weather
Yep.
problems as well, and then monetary policy. We've got the government expanding the money supply, and so the value of our currency, or of our purchasing power rather, has gone down. Lots of factors. Are there any sort of top factors in terms of what you've observed and that's really driving the increases the most?
Uh, Not necessarily. Energy costs would be another one, but of course, it's unclear whether or not the carbon pricing policy really made things different in Canada. We're actually studying the issue right now as a lab, but overall, it's a
Mhm.
mixture of different things. The labor market, as you mentioned, energy costs, obviously, governments all over the world spending a lot, which is why central banks right now all over the world are trying to tame inflation, and they've been successful to a certain extent. But of course, the nature of food is that it's not really affected by higher interest rates. Over time, it can actually impact food prices, but not over the short term, which is why in many parts of the world you see this huge gap between food inflation and general inflation right now, and a lot of people are noticing.
Hmm. And are there any other factors related to this that maybe don't get talked about that we need to be mindful of as consumers as to why food prices keep going up?
Well, the cost to do business is certainly something that is absolutely invisible for most people. But when you look at Canada specifically, it's not an homogeneous market. You have several provinces with different rules. Just recently, the Competition Bureau suggested that we need more competition in Canada. Well, to actually increase competition, you need to make an attractive market. You need to make Canada attractive to investors. And it's been a struggle because of the fact that our market is so different from the Pacific to the Atlantic. That's the main challenge here.
Okay, I want to pick up on that point in a few moments, but we have to take a commercial break.